All right, welcome everybody. This is going to be the recap of my trading this morning in our live trading room. Today is going to be Thursday, March 16th of 2023. Let's start off with natural gas. All right, so natural gas, as you can see here, I did plot, and I apologize, number one, for the video today. For some reason, my streaming going to YouTube was locking up. I had audio, but for some reason it locked on the video. Hopefully that will be remedied and to be working tomorrow. So we hope that we found the fix and we'll get that taken care of. So let's get started. Natural gas, starting off with natural gas. So we originally took an entry buy on natural gas. That entry came in at 10.18 at 10, let's see here, at 10.20. We sold and reversed. Okay, we got in a really good price here. My target was to go ahead and hit this level up here, which it eventually did, but we didn't hit the target. We ended up reversing. On the reverse, I added to my position because I had another profit level down here. I did end up taking profit. Okay, where you see this red line here, and that came in at I believe, let's see, I can look at my data here. I got out at 26. So we held it for about 6 minutes here. Went ahead and took profit, and that was it for natural gas. Even though it did finally reverse and hit that upper target, we had already taken a profit, and that was it for natural gas. So on natural gas, I ended up making only $90, only because I took that first loss. I reversed, added to it, and it was enough to come out a profit and make that $90. All right, let's look at the big one. The big one was in the gold. Let's see what the chart looks like for gold. All right, so here's our gold trade for this morning. So we entered a buy. It was around 8:55 a.m. I really, honestly, I didn't like it too much. I did have a target up here, never got up to my target, but I didn't like it because I was getting sales all over the place on the indices. Now, gold typically is going to follow the indices. So if the indices are down, all right, so in other words, the indices meaning the E-mini S&P, the mini NASDAQ, watching the mini Russell, if those are down, typically gold's going to be down. And I wasn't really surprised when it reversed. But when it reversed, which was around 9:37 a.m., I went ahead and I took a short. Now, as we started coming up, I got really aggressive with gold, as you can see, because everything was screaming that the gold was going to come down. We still was down on the indices. And so I started adding, particularly when we came up to this original entry point. I said that this was a place to add on. I started adding on. I was adding on all the way. And then I stayed in this trade until I took profit. Took profit around 11:42, somewhere in here. Took profit. I had a bunch of levels down here. Okay, so whenever I get this cluster, when Einstein tells me there's a lot of target clusters, that typically indicates that we're going to be getting pulled down lower. So I went ahead and I did take profit, and that was in the gold. But that was the big trade of the day. Okay, after commissions and everything, 93.12 on the gold. I love gold. It's one of my favorites. I love trading natural gas. You can see I also did a little bit here. Let's scroll down here. I also did a little bit on the Russell 2000, okay, the mini Russell. Made 700 there, and I also did a little bit on the mini NASDAQ, which is the US Tech 366. Now, the platform that I'm using in order to trade these indices and these commodities is something called Nadex. Okay, I love the leverage that I can get on Nadex, and I trade something called knockouts on Nadex. Okay, the market knockouts move just like the outright spot, but I have built-in safety nets on that, which I really like. So if you want to know more about Nadex, I suggest checking them out online, nadex.com. Check them out. And that's what I use for the commodities, and that's what I'm using for the indices. All right. But if you want to go ahead and trade the outright spot, you can do that as well. Certainly up to you. I just like Nadex. Okay. I like the leverage I can get with Nadex. All right. So, that did it. So big day again in the commodities and the indices. All right. So let's take a look at our stocks. Let's see how we did with the stocks. All right. So much better today in the stocks. So let's take a first look at the biggest loss today, and that was in LIPO. I put this trade on, called it out this morning at 9:19. These are Eastern time. And let me see something here. Let me double check, make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure that was the right time zone. Okay, so yeah, bought it 9:19. Once again, I had a couple targets up here. I had a target here, which was at 292. I had another one here and 294. This reminds me almost of that THMO trade I took yesterday. We're just hitting this spiked right down, and that's kind of what happened. Once again, waiting to see if we can hit that second target. I did not hit that second target. I did reverse, took a loss on it. I reversed down here. Now, I am not a seller right now, not doing any selling in stocks. If I did, that would have been a reversal point. I did have 3 or 4 levels down here, I think, on the short side. It would have hit level 1. I wasn't even watching it. Let me see. Did it hit these other levels? Did hit level 2. Wow, it took forever to get to. Yeah, it took a long time, but it did finally hit level 3. So, but nonetheless, I didn't reverse. If you want to be a seller with the Einstein levels, you can certainly do that. I love selling indices. I love selling, well, gold, I'll, buy and sell. Indices are buy and sell, but like I said, I really lean more to the short side on stuff, on all my trading. I've always been a better seller than I am a buyer. But nonetheless, I didn't take that short. I'm not doing any shorts in stocks right now. So, but that can be done if you want to do that. Okay, so let's look at JD. Actually, JDST was my biggest winner. Now, remember yesterday, THMO, that's where I got hit on THMO. I did trade a little bit of that. Made a little bit of money, 106. But after going through that experience yesterday, I didn't want to hold on to that trade very long. But nonetheless, let's look at JDST because that was my biggest win on the stocks today. And JDST is something I've been trading for the last several weeks. I love JDST. I love the way it moves. It's just continuing to go higher and higher. So when I get a setup, I definitely want to jump on board that. And I did have several setups. Let's look at that chart. All right, so here's one of my favorite stocks, JDST. So we entered around 9:30. It was like 9:33. We had a buy. We had several buys. So Einstein, when we get 3 patterns setting up, each one of those Einstein will provide us with a profit target. In this case, we had 3 of them. So we hit level 1. I went ahead and I was really going to play it up to level 3. But once it came up and it hit level 2 and it pulled back, started to pull back, I went ahead and I got out right above level 2. I did not hold out to level 3. But I did do very well on that, picking up in 1,058, all right? And I believe it finally, it eventually hit level 3. So basically the way this works is as I go out in time or as we go out in higher levels, okay, and this is true whether it's going to be short or long. The further out I project, the further out or the longer it can take in order to hit a level. But at the same time, I give myself more room because if I have to hold for a long period of time, which I don't like to do, that's why if it doesn't hit level 3 right away, I'm usually going to get out of it. But that doesn't mean if you're a trader, doesn't mean you can't go for these further out moves. But keep in mind that you're going to have to use a bigger stop because you've got to give yourself room in the market in order for things to move around. Because that's the whole thing about trading. There was a study that was done back in the middle 80s, I think it was. And they looked at different size stops, right? And so you would think logically that, you want to use a small stop and you have these big gains. That's a very hard game to play, folks. What they found is that they actually ended up doing better by using larger stops, okay, because it gave them room for the market to move around when you're going for longer targets, okay? So also it really depends on the accuracy of whatever you're trading. So if you have something that's hitting at 70%, and these targets do hit at 70%, you could even use a 2-to-1 loss ratio. So in other words, for every dollar you're looking to gain, you can risk $2, because if you're hitting at 70%, you're still going to come out ahead. So it really depends on the accuracy of it. What I like to do is I like to, once I get in and I hit that first target, all right, if I think it's strong enough, I'm going to try to wait for target number 2. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I'm wrong, and you know, I should have taken my gains at that very first target. All right. But when it hits it like it did on THMO yesterday and LIPO, when it hits it and it pulls back real fast, you know, you almost don't even have time to get out. I mean, you could get out at your entry point if you wanted to do that. I tend to wait as long as I don't see a reversal coming in. I'll tend to wait to see if I can get that second target. And if I don't, and then, you know, I'll go ahead and I'll get out. I don't reverse. I just go ahead and I get out. But so that's how I ended up playing JDST. So once again, folks, please, if you like these videos, please support my channel. Give me a thumbs up. I do this every morning for a full hour. It is available to the public. You don't have to be a subscriber to watch me trade the first hour. I do call out every single one of these trades. So, and the methods that I use are my own proprietary methods. Einstein is something that was developed back in the 80s. Patterns were also identified back in the 80s. So, got a long track record using these tools. And I know they work. I have a lot of confidence in them, and they're, as I say, they're universal. They make it, when I say universal, that means I can use the same patterns. I can use the same formula in a stock as I can in an indice or commodity, or even if you like to trade cryptos, you can do cryptos as well. So support the channel by giving me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so we can keep you updated on these daily updates. I am trying to get some assistance so I can get these out earlier for everybody. But, you know, I trade most of the day, and I also trade in the evenings too. I like to trade currencies in the evening. So if you're a subscriber, you know that we do trade in the evenings, and I do like to take advantage of particularly Thursday nights, because Thursday nights are a really good night to trade currencies. So I like to trade, forex in the evening, and but in the morning, usually those first 3 hours of the day are the best time to trade the indices, gold, natural gas, crude oil. All those are really good to trade in the morning. Stocks, obviously, usually those first 3 hours for me. I'm Central, so it's going to be 7 to 10. If you're Eastern, it's going to be 8 to 11. That seems to be the golden opportunity there to trade. Some people like to trade the last hour of the day with stocks, power hour. You know, that's up to you if you want to do that. I'm a believer that, you know, you trade 2 or 3, you have a good day, just walk away. You don't have to come back. If you want to come back, if you haven't had a good day, you can come back and trade in the afternoon. I've had mixed results doing that. Sometimes it's done well, sometimes it hasn't. That's, you know, personal preference on how you want to do it. All right, so that's going to wrap it up. Also, check out my YouTube channel at Innovative Trading Strategies, or you can always go to my website, innovativetradingstrategies.com. I do teach these methods, once again, as I mentioned and have been mentioning. Einstein has only been, I've only released Einstein with, it's been less than a year since I released it. I am going to probably close it down and not offer it anymore, because I don't want it to get in the hands of too many people, because just like anything else, it gets, don't want too many people all jumping in on the same thing. So it is limited right now. It is still available, but it won't be for long. But the patterns are available. The patterns that I use to set up are also available. So if you're interested, check out the packages. If you have questions, you can just contact me via the website. All right, folks, that's it. Everybody have a good night. We'll do this again first thing in the morning. Cross my fingers. Hopefully the streaming is going to work out, and we're going to be able to also see some live charts. All we had was audio today, but I think we got it figured out. So we'll see how things go in the morning. Y'all have a good night. Take care.